Aaron Greenberg recently spoke to GI Biz where he touched on a whole bunch of different topics. How Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2 have exceeded expectations, how Forza Horizon 4 might be the biggest Forza launch of all time, how Xbox Game Pass is doing, and how they're partnering up with retailers this holiday to drive more engagement and visibility, and also talked about all the games coming to the Xbox One this holiday, and how they don't need Crackdown 3 this year. And it's that single quote that kind of got me feeling a certain way, and I wanted to rant a little bit right now. What is going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, Man with a Million, back again with another video. Sorry for the lack of content recently. I have been playing Spider-Man non-stop. Hopefully I can finish today and provide a review for you guys. I think I'm 70% done. At least that's what it says on the in-game menu. Oh boy. So Aaron Greenberg, opened his mouth and just said something that just, I don't know, man. I had a sense of deja vu. So let's actually read what he says, and then we'll get into what I think about it. And you never know, there might be a rant on this one. Speaking with GI Biz, Aaron Greenberg said Microsoft has a steady stream of content planned for 2019. This holiday season, however, will instead focus on third-party partners and available first parties such as Forza Horizon 4, which is out early next month. Greenberg says, "We're going to get Forza Horizon 4 out early, October 2nd, and before the blast radius. We didn't need Crackdown or any of our other titles in this holiday window. We're planning to launch that in February, and then after that, we will launch Ori and the Will of the Wisps. We like to have a steady cadence of content throughout the year, but there is more than enough content this holiday. That's why we're working with so many third-party partners to showcase their games and help drive our platform during that window. I can't think of a holiday that had more AAA games in a tight time period." Now here's the thing. He's not wrong in what he's saying. Microsoft doesn't need Crackdown 3 this year. I mean, just look at the lineup of huge AAA multi-platform games coming. You have in September, starting up next week, you have Shadow of the Tomb Raider, NBA 2K19, FIFA 19. October has Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Red Dead Redemption 2, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Lego DC Supervillains, and Starlink. November has Battlefield 5, Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Hitman 2, Fallout 76, and Just Cause 4 closes out the year in December. It's a pretty packed holiday, and yeah, there really is no need for Crackdown 3, but you don't really have to say that. And I feel like we've already heard this excuse from Aaron Greenberg before. In fact, I started feeling a little deja vu. I felt like I was living in the Twilight Zone. And you know what? I was right. I've heard this excuse before. In fact, it was the excuse given directly to me when we interviewed Aaron Greenberg back when TXR Podcast was a thing all the way back in 2016. Now, some of you guys might know, some of you may not. I ran a podcast with a whole bunch of my friends, Southbound, Tim Dog, Maka91, Inferno 217, Doc Cupcake, before we shut the podcast down. But we actually were fortunate enough to have Aaron Greenberg come on back after E3 2016 when I asked him about why Crackdown 3 was delayed from that year. And he said, "We didn't need the game this year. We've got ReCore, we've got Forza Horizon 3, we've got Gears of War 4, we've got Dead Rising 4, just on the stuff we're publishing before you get to all the great third-party titles. We have a great partnership with EA around Madden and around Battlefield." And when I read that, and when I thought back about how he's using the same exact excuse for Crackdown 3, basically 2 years later, something in me kind of snapped. Look, it's easy, and look, I know that Greenberg is a PR mouthpiece. His job is to basically paint Microsoft and Xbox in the best way possible. And the best way possible is talking about the Xbox One X and 4K and all the big multiplats coming to the system. So when he says Crackdown 3, we don't need it. It's supposed to be from a position of power. Like, we have so many games coming to our platform. We don't need this one. We can put it out at some other point in time. But you know what? Why not just speak the truth? We already had Phil Spencer talk to Giant Bomb and other places saying that Crackdown 3 didn't feel right. He wanted to give it the time it deserved to make it better. They wanted to avoid the fall game so they can launch it next year and give it the time it needs. Why not just say, you know what? Crackdown 3, it's not ready. Why not just give a little bit of the truth? Not necessarily that you don't need it, but that it wasn't finished, and that would sit much better with me. Instead of using the same exact excuse you used to me 2 years ago. And when you think about it, we didn't need it back in 2016, and we still don't need it in 2018. What is going on with that game? Was it close to launch in 2016? Enough where you told me and others that we didn't need it? And here you are, parroting the same excuse 2 years later that we don't need it? What is going on with Crackdown 3? There needs to be a behind-the-scenes expose on what really happened with this title. And you know what? You know, sometimes this is maybe best not to mention anything. I don't even know why you need to even talk about Crackdown 3. Just don't even mention it. If you're gonna mention it, say that it's still not finished, right? And this whole idea of we don't need stuff this holiday is basically new Microsoft. Because if you recall, Aaron Greenberg was always the one talking about how January to August was the preseason, where September to December was the real game. You guys remember that? And Microsoft had a habit of backloading their entire catalog during the holiday months and leaving gamers from January to August maybe one title. So much so that Xbox fans would give Sony crap for launching holidays without an exclusive. Xbox fans would always say, yeah, that's great, third-party stuff, but what's Sony dropping for this holiday for you guys? Oh, nothing. Well, Xbox, we have Gears of War, we have Recore, we have Forza Horizon, we have Forza Motorsport, we have Halo. But Sony wisely realized that they didn't need any games during the holidays and basically stretched out their titles throughout the beginning of the year. And now Microsoft came to that realization and are doing it now too. So now we go from the preseason and the regular season to we don't need this game this holiday. I mean, I guess you do need Forza Horizon though, which, understandable. Forza Horizon is, you know, the big daddy of the racing genre, and there are no other racing games coming out this holiday, so it stands on its own. But I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is with PR just lying. Just speak a little bit of truth now and then everything will be alright. Just tell gamers the real reason why Crackdown's not gonna be there. It just ain't ready. People can handle the truth. And if you are going to lie, don't use an excuse that you used 2 years ago for a game that is still not out yet and won't be out until next year. God, just think about that. In 2016, they didn't need it. And 3 years later, we're lucky to still be getting it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with that game. I don't know why Crackdown 3 kind of turns Microsoft PR people into just bumbling buffoons half the time. But honestly, I read this and something made me snapped. I haven't really done a rant in quite some time, and that's what I call these opinion pieces. But I don't know. It just comes off as condescending. You know, maybe you think gamers have a short memory, that nobody would remember that you gave this excuse 2 years ago, but I certainly do. And I don't like it. You know? Just tell the truth. Or don't say anything about the game. Just completely avoid the topic. And yeah, I know, like I said earlier, It's his job to paint Microsoft and Xbox in the best picture possible. And for the most part, he does a good job of it, even though a lot of the fanboys on the PlayStation side don't really like him. But he always does present Microsoft in the best light. But I think he really did a disservice here to Crackdown fans, fans of the Xbox, and just people like me who have been following what he says and what Phil Spencer says and what Mike Ybarra says and the things that Xbox and the moves they make and the things they do by giving me the same recycled excuse that you used 2 years ago on me again. Like, I'm not going to realize that I'm being had here. Like, come up with a better excuse or tell the truth. I'm sick of it, honestly. Crackdown 3, you know what, maybe we should just cancel Crackdown 3. Get to that point. Nobody cares about Crackdown at this point. Just cancel the damn game. Whatever. I'm done. Later, guys. Have a good one.